Okay, good morning or good afternoon. What would y'all like to talk about today?
We're going to do it jointly and we'll back and forth, and it'll be about our first date.
Oh, excellent.
I was at a small junior college in Raleigh, North Carolina, that had 2 years of high school and 2 years of college, and I was there for my first year of college.
And the
And
name of it was,
the name of it was Peace College, and
yeah.
now it's going to be the University of Peace. So, Daniel, where were you?
I was at NC State University and a member of the Sigma Nu fraternity.
And my college that I went to was very, very strict. And that John's group had a party at the Sigma Nu house, and one of his fraternity brothers was dating a friend of mine at Peace. Well, the problem at Peace College at that time, you could not go to a fraternity party unless there were four of you going. They felt like for
Okay.
some we were safer. So then, John, tell what happened next.
One of my buddies was dating a girl at Peace, and he told me he needed three other guys to go to the party our fraternity was having. And he asked me if I'd be one. I told him I would. Now you.
So we got paired up together that night, and the party was out in the country at a lake called Truby's Lake. And it was a lot of fun. There were a lot of people there. We had a really, really good time. And I found out later that one of John's fraternity brothers said to him, "You be nice to that girl and be careful because she's president of the student body. And we don't want you to jinx everything over at Peace College by not being a good boy tonight." So, but anyway, after that night, what did you think then, John?
Well, it was in the dead of winter, very cold. And needless to say, at fraternity parties, you had a big keg of beer, and we were all inside the cabin, the lake outside, and very cold, and we were drinking beer, and
Not
all of
me.
us, huh?
Not me, because I didn't like beer.
Yeah, and all of a sudden, we heard all this yelling outside. I'll leave it up to
Well,
you.
you tell this part, you tell, and then I'll tell the real story.
And so we thought somebody fallen in the lake. Everybody went rushing outside. And what happened, a bunch of my fraternity buddies decided they'd go for a swim. So they went outside, took off their clothes, and went swimming in the lake. And he must have been in the 20s,
At least.
at least.
Yeah. So Dad loves to tell that that was my favorite part of the whole party. It was not. So that's the bud right now. Another one that we thought about the other day. I'm not sure you all know anything about our first jobs, and I thought that might be interesting for you.
Yeah, that would be great.
So, John, tell about your first job, how you got it, to what you went through, and all that kind of stuff.
Well, uh, they had a office at state that would bring in companies to let graduated seniors get to know that company and vice versa. And I interviewed several. One of them seemed pretty awesome, and it was Goodyear Tire and Rubber in Akron, Ohio. And I went up there. They flew me up there to visit the plant, get to know some of the people. And that plant was dirty and smelly and hot. And then it was in the spring. And I made up my mind while before I ever left, I am not going to work here.
So, tell how you ended up with the job you got.
And then I uh, interviewed another company by the name of Collins and Aikman, and I can't remember if I interviewed any others or not. And they offered me a job, and it was in North Carolina because they had several plants in North Carolina, and so I accepted their offer and went to work literally the day after graduation.
Mm-hmm. And then they sent him on a training program for 6 months.
Yeah.
So during that 6 months' time, he was getting settled and doing what he was doing with work and moving around. And we decided we would get married. And then that was at Christmas time. So that was like 6 months after he was started his training program.
Yeah. And the training program took me to Albemarle, North Carolina, Norwood, North Carolina, Siler City, and Roxborough, North Carolina. And at the end of the training program, they assigned me to Norwood. And that's where I started my real work, was in, January, I guess,
Mm-hmm.
of 59.
Yeah. My job
And you
was,
stayed there basically your whole career then, for
well,
40 some years.
we moved, we moved to Concord. You got moved to Concord when I was pregnant with Catherine.
Yeah.
And we were over there for what, 2 years?
Yeah.
And moved back to Albemarle when I was pregnant with you, John.
Mm-hmm.
Actually,
it was, I had the baby over there and then we moved back
right.
here. Yes. And in the meantime, though, he went to work, not went to work, but traveled to a lot of other places too, but not where he needed to stay, to move down there. Let me tell Catherine one thing. Excuse me. Catherine, we're taping with John. I'll talk to you in a few minutes. Bye. So, what else did you want to tell about that? And that's very unusual, kids and John and Joe, to have stayed with the same company your entire career, which was very unusual.
Yeah, that is a long time.
Mm-hmm.
Well, tell us about yours then, Mom.
Well, your dad had changed his major at the last minute and changed it from nuclear engineering.
Last minute.
Well, no, but
After my sophomore year.
After your sophomore year,
Yeah.
he was going to major in nuclear engineering, and decided he was going to change it to industrial engineering, which meant he was going to have to go another semester longer to finish it up. And so, but I was going to graduate on time in 4 years. So we decided that I would go back home and live with my parents and teach school and save some money, which I got that plan in my head. And so I went to Laurinburg to where the superintendent was to see if he had a job that I could take. And he was thrilled to get me because he knew my family, he knew about me, and knew about my mother. And so he said, yes, Miss Shaw, I'll be delighted to put you in a second grade here in Laurinburg, which he did. And I stayed there for a year. And during that first year, we got engaged. And so I was going to finish out that year. And Granddaddy was not going to finish school for another semester. And so we decided we would not get married till Christmas time. So I went back to the superintendent that summer and said, I would love to teach, in the fall, but you need to know I will not be there past that time. And he said, oh, I want you to come because I have another person that in mind that I'm going to put in your job when you are no longer here. You know who that was?
Who was that?
Mother. She had not taught school since she had gotten married and had children, and she was ready to go back and had talked to the superintendent unbeknownst to me and he was going to hire her to put her in my place. So they had Miss Shaw, and then they had Mrs. Shaw that year, and the kids thought that was fantastic.
That's great.
These are kind of mundane, but that's just what that part of our
No,
life.
that's good. Yeah, I like hearing about those. Well, that's a good stint there. Let me put a stop to this, and I'll stay on the call with you and chat for a second here.
Okay, Catherine and Matt are probably going to come pick us up to go eat dinner.